guys, so this is gonna be something new. I've never done this before, so hope you guys bear with me. My voice can be a little meh sometimes, so I do try to add as much as emotion as I can to this as possible, but sometimes my voice is pretty lame. It can be lame sometimes, I don't know why, it's just who I am, I guess. So like I said, just bear with me. If you don't like it, you just don't watch it. You can just skip to another video or something like that. But yeah, if you do like this, please leave a comment in the comment section below, or leave a like or subscribe if you want. But feedback would be appreciated. I want to see what you guys think of this. If you don't like it, then I know to stop and not continue with the story. But if you do, then yeah, by all means, go for it, dude. And please do tell me, because that feedback is very lit. Please do tell me. Yeah, and hope you guys enjoy this video. When Beyond Birthday committed his third murder, he attempted an experiment. Namely, to see if it were possible for a human being to die of eternal hemorrhaging without rupturing any organs. Specifically, he drugged his victims so they fell unconscious, tied them up, and proceeded to beat their left arm thoroughly, being careful not to break the skin. He was hoping to bring about enough hemorrhaging to cause death from loss of blood, but this attempt ended, sadly, in failure. Blood congested in the arm and it turned purplish red beneath the skin, but the victim did not die. They simply shook, convulsed, and remained alive. He had been convinced that the blood loss incurred by this would be enough to kill someone, but apparently he had underestimated the matter. As far as Beyond Birthday was concerned, the actual method of murder rated fairly low on the amusement scale, and it was never more than an interesting experiment. It did not particularly matter to him whether it succeeded or not. Beyond Birthday simply shrugged and took out a knife. No. Not this style. Not this narrative voice. I'll never manage to keep up this arc tone all the way through. The harder I try, the more bored I'll get and the lazier the writing will be. To put it in terms of Holden Caulfield, one of history's most famous literary bullshitters might use, detailing what Beyond Birthday did and thought does not suit my purposes. Even if, in my position, I had a great deal of sympathy for him. Explaining the entirety of his murders in carefully phrased sentences does not in any way increase the value of these notes. This is not a report, nor is it a novel. Even if it happens to turn into one, I will not be happy. I hate to use such a heck-9 line, but I imagine that by the time anyone lays eyes on these words, I will no longer be alive. I hardly need to remind the reader about the epic battle between the century's greatest detective, L, and the grotesque murderer, Kira. The instrument of death was a little bit more fantastic than a guillotine, for example, but all Kira accomplished was another reign of terror and pathetically infantile way of thinking. Looking back, I can only surmise that the gods of victory smiled on Kira for their own vain amusements. Perhaps these gods actually wanted a blood-soaked world of betrayal and false accusation. Perhaps the entire episode exists as a lesson to teach us the difference between the Almighty and the Shinigami. Who knows? I, for one, have no intention of wasting any more time thinking about the most negative series of events. To hell with Kira. What matters to me is L. L, the century's greatest detective. In light of his staggering mental abilities, L died an unjust and untimely death. In the public record alone, he solved over 3,500 difficult crimes, and sent 3 times that number of degenerates to prison. He wielded an incredible power, was able to mobilize every investigative bureau in the entire world, and was applauded generously for his efforts. And during it all, he never showed his face. I want to record his words as accurately as possible, and I want to leave them for someone to find. As someone who was given the chance to follow in his footsteps, well, I may not have been able to succeed him, but I want to leave this behind. So what you're reading now are my notes about L. It's a dying message, not from me, and not directed at the world. The person who will most likely read this first will probably be that big-headed twit Nier, but if that's the case, I will not tell him to shred or burn these pages. If it causes him pain to discover that I knew things about L that he did not, then that's fine. There's also a chance that Kira might read this, and I hope he does. If these notes tell the murderer, who only got by with the help of a supernatural killing notebook and an idiot of a Shinigami, that he was, under any other circumstances, not even worth the dirt beneath L's shoes, then they have served their purpose. I am one of the few people who ever met L as L. When and how I met him? This is the single most valuable memory I have, and I will not write it here. But on that occasion, L related to me 3 stories of his exploits, and the episode involving Beyond Birthday was one of these. If I drop the pretense and simply refer to it as the Los Angeles BB murder cases, then I imagine many of you will have heard of them. Obviously, it never came to light that L, and more importantly, Whammy's house, which raised me until I was 15, was deeply connected to the matter, but in fact, they were. L, on principle, never got involved in the case unless there were more than 10 victims or $1 million at stake. And this is the real reason why he belatedly but aggressively involved himself in this little case, which only ever had 3 to 4 victims. I will explain further in the pages that follow, but for this reason, the case for the Los Angeles BB murder cases are a watershed event for L, for me, and even for Kira. It was a monumental event for all of us. Why? Because this case is where L first introduced himself as Ryuzaki. So let us skip past all the tedious descriptions of what Beyond Birthday thought of how he went about killing his 3rd victim, since I have no interest in that at all. And while we're at it, let's skip the 2nd and 1st victims. Make no effort to look back at the earlier murders, and adjust the clock's hands to the morning of the day after. The glittering moment when the century's greatest detective, L, first began to investigate the case. Oh, I almost forgot. In the event that anyone besides that big-headed Nier or the deluded murderer is reading these notes, then I should at least perform the basic courtesy of introducing myself, here at the end of the prologue. I am your narrator, your navigator, and your storyteller. For anyone else but those 2, my identity may be of no interest, but I am the old world's runner-up, the best dresser that died like a dog, Mikhail Kiel. I once called myself Mellow, and was addressed by that name, but that was a long time ago. Good memories and nightmares. Huh. Alright, looks like you're done with the video, and thank you for watching. Before you go, let me tell you a couple things about this video and why I decided to make this. So, to start things off, this novel, or audio novel, or whatever you want to call it, is based off the published book Death Note, the Los Angeles BB Murder Cases by Tsugumi Oba and Takashi Obata, which they are the original creators of the original Death Note manga / anime, whatever you want to, whatever. But yeah, they released this back in 2008. I actually picked it up when it first got released, so I've had this book for like a long time. It's been on my shelf, just rotting away and stuff like that, and I'm pretty torn up right now, so it's kind of sad, but I probably need to get a new one. But anyways, so I just decided that, hey, maybe I should do this, because I think I've seen a couple videos where people start reading it and they kind of just stopped after the prologue or something like that, and I just kind of wanted to share that this book is a thing. If you guys are interested into the Death Note whole thing and you guys don't want to spend like not $30, it's like $20 on Barnes and Nobles if you try to pick the book up or something, or if you're lucky enough on eBay or something, it's like $10 or something like that. But I don't know, I digress. But yeah, for those who don't really want to read it or just wants a little taste of it, I'm just gonna be reading a little bit of it. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you do like this, if you do enjoy it, please leave a like or subscribe, or just a comment saying that you want more or something like that, like you always do. But you know, yeah, basically I decided because, you know, it's been there. I really like the story. It's very, very fascinating. Such a fascinating story because, spoiler, if you don't want to hear this, just pause the video or just skip it or whatever. L does have like another counterpart to him or something like that. His name is BB or Beyond Birthday, is as mentioned in the prologue or whatever, and he's like apparently L's opposite or whatever. He tries, well, you know how L is a detective and solves murders and all kinds of stuff. Well, BB is trying to challenge him by making murders or impossible murders that probably only he can solve and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a really interesting concept and story, and I'm really happy that Obata, I think I said her name right, Obata, yeah, made this book because it's a really interesting stuff. But yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe for more videos if you like this. Tell me that you want more and stuff like that. So at this point, I'm kind of just ranting, trying to hit that 10-minute mark. Oh shit.